Are you Alright.
You're right there.
Yeah, it's mine. Take out what you're writing on. Cam,
Nice guy.
welcome to the party.
Thanks. Sorry I'm late. I was talking to myself.
You think that helps you? You think that makes me feel good about myself? Gavin.
He was there too.
Are we being recorded?
Huh? Yeah. We are being recorded. And so you all know how wonderful I feel about this. Alright. This is Miss Giannis. Miss Giannis is taking over for me as of next trimester. This will be my last trimester. Won't be your teacher anymore.
Wait, we're leaving too.
Wait,
So, here's what you're doing.
I didn't sign up for this.
Here's what you're doing. You are writing a letter as your last will and testament to me. And you are including what you want Miss Giannis to keep doing or to never do again. Nope, we're not talking about it yet. We're not talking about it yet.
This is
What you're doing right now is writing. Right. I know.
Were you there for Conroy going away from the football?
Right,
It's like that. You just hit us with it.
right, go.
So it's like a low key.
Take everything you're thinking and put it on document. Go, right, scribe.
Thank you.
Actually, very easy.
Who are we writing this to?
Yeah, are we writing it to you or what?
That ruined my day, sir.
Right,
Appreciate it.
to me.
Wait, it's to you?
It's to me, and you're putting P.S. Please make sure Miss Giannis does this or never does this ever. Like if you'd like her not to call you brain, that might be.
Wait, I don't like this. What are you saying?
Sure, just do it.
What's the first step we're leaving?
Doesn't matter, go.
I can't go if I don't want to. First step. How can you be in school? That's what you said. I got that.
Are you gonna be back for graduation?
No, he's not. He's going to.
Shh. We'll talk about my future plans after you write.
Just to reference, I planned the graduation.
Wait, you didn't tell me what to write though.
So we
I wasn't asking about your letter. That's not my life.
You're writing a letter to me. As your last words to me.
Oh my god. This
Are
is
you
so
gonna read
much
these?
pressure.
Huh?
Are you gonna read these?
That's funny.
Unless you want me to.
Oh, why is it hard? No, this mine's funny.
Yours is hilarious. I'm sorry about it.
Max is gonna freak out. No, actually, don't tell him.
Just let him find out on the day to leave. Right, people. Throw a fit.
Oh my god, this is the second time it's happened to me. This is so sad. I had Biddy last
I
year.
promise you we
Obviously,
will
she
talk
had
about
baby.
it.
This is the
I'm
third
not
time
pregnant.
this is
I know I'm showing a little bit, but I'm not.
Are you like, freshman year, Mr. Bagley left us. Nobody likes us apparently.
30 seconds. Twenty-nine seconds. What? Yep. That's her. Alright, here's what I want you to do now. Skip a space. Right? And I want you to put, where are you now on the spectrum of existentialism? The one that we talked about yesterday. Between fate and free will.
Are you saying it was fate that you're leaving?
No. Where are you? Are you more towards fate or more towards free will?
That's how I'm gonna get through this.
Based on the conversation that we had yesterday.
I think it might be a little
Fate
dramatic.
is the only way I'm getting through this right now, because I know you're supposed to leave. No, you're not supposed to be here.
What?
You always feel at least you're gonna cry. Like,
Alright, I need, let's go with 5 volunteers.
Man.
For what?
Read me what you wrote.
Oh, I don't have anything.
Cam, go.
I said, Dear Mr. Rivers,
Hi.
please for the love of God do not make us read Shakespeare again. I really enjoyed your class. I wish there were more essays and papers because I actually kind of learned to enjoy writing. I thank you for welcoming me to your class late, and your sense of humor made English class, which is something I traditionally have not really enjoyed, pretty okay. And yeah, I mean, you did your best with Hamlet, which is pretty horrible, and then I drew a picture of a gravestone and said, "Rip Teacher Rivers, 2017 through 18."
Solid. 4 more.
I gotta speak.
Give-
We're together forever.
Give me Caleb.
So like I said, we spent the last 2 years together. Hasn't always been good. I'm kind of lazy. You get frustrated, but that just makes the good times better. Half the things you say don't make sense, but just wherever you end up, just understand. They're not going to understand either. I said that's your alert as a teacher, though. You're not closed off like everyone else. You aren't controlled entirely by our curriculum, and you say what you're thinking when you're thinking it. And I think that breeds respect in a good learning environment, because knowing my teacher sees me not as an underling but as an equal is refreshing, and I know you're gonna love it wherever you go.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Go.
Beautiful.
I'm your best friend. I wasn't talking here, but like, I'm
That's my
not,
best friend.
I'm not gonna say, but like, thanks for being my advisor in like in second 2 years in the school. I'm sorry I wasn't like the best advisor because I expected a lot. Like I promised I'm better this year, and I didn't. And I'm sorry I left because like I didn't feel like I really fit in the advisory because everyone else was like a job and I was like I really did.
Oh, man.
Like it wasn't because of you. It was me. But,
That's going to be important in a second. Hold on, let's talk about it. What are we up to? 1 more? 2 more? 1 more?
2 more.
2 more.
There you go.
Anybody?
I kind of want to
Alright, I guess one more. I wanna hear Ellie's.
Brain!
I said, no. I said, okay, I can't believe you're leaving. This just isn't fair. Who's gonna call me brain? Who's going to make extremely vague and serious jokes that no one understands? I'm really sad now. Okay, bye.
Beautiful. Last one. Phil.
I will miss you, old friend. This is actually sad. In all our previous schools, English was my least favorite subject. You, however, have changed this feeling. I actually enjoyed English classes. Yes, there were some boring classes and frustrating ones, but this is what happens in whatever subject one may take. But I know, and hopefully so does the class, that you're doing this for yourself. So aside from this sad stuff, I'm happy for you and wish you the best of luck. That is, unless you change classes and just ditched us. I don't know if we can be buddies then.
Fair point. Alright, I changed my mind. I'm staying. Screw it.
Yes!
Alright.
Wait, what?
It's not going anywhere.
You're just fishing for
You know, this is
Wait,
really
wait,
because
wait.
we're all sad. She's probably like, they're gonna hate me
Great
because
point,
we're
great
all
point.
sad. So why do you
Wait,
tell us
was it
Great
yesterday
point.
that
Great
you
point.
suffer?
Why would I do this to you?
Wait, so you're
Like,
actually
me?
leaving?
I want to walk out now.
Huh?
Is he leaving?
And you should walk out.
Let's go, Philip.
Let's go. Are we going?
Exactly. No, sit down. Ellie's going to the bathroom.
Hey, I got it.
I appreciate you.
Are you not actually leaving?
I'm so Brain, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so
I would leave you, but not in the middle of the trimester. Why is this relevant? Why would I do this to you?
Wait, I'm so confused right now.
I'm really
I know you are.
You know my dream
I
can't
know so bad.
I know. It's okay. Why would I do this to you?
Can I leave? It's
No,
just too
you're
much.
okay. You're right.
To put us through
Kim.
to
Hold on, go.
put us through an existential crisis.
Existential crisis.
To make us feel like probably something related to the stranger about how his mom is leaving and how to deal with that.
Probably something related to the stranger. Right? What did we establish last time we were in class? What was that? Thursday? What did they say? Thursday? What did we establish last time we were in class?
Ellie and Max got into a fight.
Ellie and Max got into a fight over what?
Fate!
Fate.
Fate exists.
Fate may or may not
The
exist.
reason why you did that was because me and Emma needed to tell you at some point that we were coming back to this class.
Which we are addressing. I did not forget that. I just actively put that away.
Wait, he goes, I'm leaving, and Emma and Emily go, us too! We were all like, what?
So, no matter where you fall on the spectrum between fate and free will, what does it all boil down to?
It doesn't matter.
Choice.
Why not? What doesn't matter?
Because you're just gonna live your life anyway. Whether or not you think that your actions are being controlled by something else, you're just gonna keep going through the motions.
Beautiful. So, what is the only thing that's true?
Fate.
No. What do you believe in?
Fate can't be the only thing that's true, right? Because Max doesn't believe in fate.
Max is wrong.
What's true is what you believe.
What's true is what you believe.
Max isn't here to defend.
It's not here to
Max, that's why I'm defending Max. I said Max doesn't believe in fate.
I'll face that.
It's okay.
So,
So the only thing that's true is what you believe, which is why a lot of us think that all the only things we ever do are selfish. Yes? So the only value that the world has is the value that you put on it. Make sense? Alright, take out your books. You're strangers.
I just think that
Alright.
we've gone through
Lady,
too much
you are-
emotions to focus. I know. Like, I'm not.
You're on an emotional roller coaster.
You feel like
This is incredible.
Like, I'm pretty sure Ellie just cried. Like,
This
it
is
looked at her
incredible.
face and it was really red.
We're gonna make her.
that was honestly.
That was. I'm so.
Oh, we're still best friends.
No, I take everything back I've ever said.
I
That's
know.
like nice.
What about the meat so? Can I keep that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gavin.
Alright. Take out your books. I'm checking your annotations. Tell me whatever.
See these.
Can't wait. Tell me your questions, reactions, thoughts that you had about really anything in part 1, but I want to get into chapter 5. Cam, go.
I feel like the book has, I don't know, I just feel like it had a lot of filler, a lot of like no action. He's just coasting around. It's like, they just like, with literally no change of motion or feeling, he just goes and shoots someone 5 times. And like, for no reason really.
Yep.
It's not even like his fight, doesn't really like what's his name?
Marcel.
Yeah, so I just was weirded out by that.
Okay. Did you like it?
I mean, I'm glad the book is, something's happening in it, so yeah.
Okay. Okay. What else? Thoughts, reactions, comments, go.
Why to the girl?
Why what?
Why to the girl? Like in between the scenes with the shooting and the. It feels like she disappears halfway through chapter 6 and I couldn't find like where she went.
She was just in the house. She's still around. Marie, right?
Yeah, Marie.
Okay, because, you know, his mother died.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
She's very much that.
It's kind of the first line of the
No,
book.
wait, can I like tell you my favorite line?
Please.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm reminded because I read it and I was like,
Hold on.
I was like,
Go.
did I just read that right? And then, so after they just shot someone or whatever happened, I was like a little confused why they decided to like do that. But, he said, he was like, I just shut up, smoked a cigarette, and looked at the sea. Like, they just like shot people and he's like, oh, I'm just gonna smoke a cigarette and look at the sea. That was like my favorite line.
Why is that
Because he's just
stick
like,
with you so much?
he's like, oh, whatever.
Reading online.
People
There's-
go with
Because what?
He's like, oh, alright, like, well, it happened, so I'm just gonna do my thing and look at the sea. I don't know, I just thought it was so funny, because I actually laughed out loud. It was so funny.
Good. Anybody else have any physical reactions?
I just noticed that just kind of out of nowhere, there was just a little bit of racism in the last two chapters.
Okay, where?
They kept saying like, oh, like the group of Arabs are staring that like went dead way, the way they do, and like stuff like that. Yeah,
Where does that racism come from?
probably imperialism because they're in French occupied North Africa.
Okay, more importantly, which character does it come from?
It comes from, I can't pronounce his name, the narrator.
Merceau?
Merceau.
Okay.
I thought it comes from Raymond. 'Cause
Raymond.
I thought it came from
But also I feel like in the previous chapter, I remember there was when he saw Raymond's mistress, he called her Moorish.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Oh, I was surprised," or something like that she was Moorish. So I feel like he also has a touch of maybe racism to it, like, but I don't know.
But it's important to note that the racism that he shows, or the kind of some of the opinions about people that he shows, come from other people, right? So he decides to trust Raymond, right? He testifies for Raymond something that wasn't true. He lies to the cops for Raymond, and he just, for whatever reason, he likes it. He takes his word. Yeah,
This should be a reflection of the time. Like, this was written however long ago. Maybe 70, 80
Could
years
be.
ago. And it could just be Camus' own racism just leading into it.
Potentially. But if it were accidental, this book wouldn't have as much publicity as it does. It wouldn't be as worth reading, right? Because if you're a real writer, there's not much that happens in your book that's accidental, right? Like how we talk about Shakespeare and how he's talking to a bunch of different levels of people, calling everybody stupid, pat himself on the back.
I
Matt?
feel like there's racism in the character
Mm-hmm.
is not accidental, because it feels like the way this character narrates, he's meant to be unlikable. Because the way he talks is just like such like a blank slate, and so if you get bored of a character, that character also has to have racist tendencies, and you're like, I don't like this dude. Like, he shouldn't, and I think that's like the point.
Good, absolutely. Are there any questions lingering out there about anything you've read?
I did it because I read it.
Anything? Are you more or less okay with the physical words of the text as of right now? Yeah? It wasn't. Yeah. Okay. All right. In your notebook, there is something called understanding character. Let me know if you don't see it.
Stop.
Only place I put anything. What I want you to do is work with the people to either side of you, and you're going to go through this list, right? There's a part 1 and a part 2. That's the only thing I want you to focus on right now. Pick 5 questions from part 1 and 10 questions from part 2. And I want you to answer them about Merceau. Now, as you're doing this, I want you to have evidence that supports your reasoning. So it'll say something like, your character just got reincarnated. What are they coming back as? And you'll say he's coming back as a tree. No, I don't know. I just kind of made that up. And I want you to give me proof from the text that supports your reasoning to why he should be a tree. And it can't just be, he's kind of a weird guy who stands around, so a tree is weird and stands around. Like, that's not really good enough. Make sense?
I got one for one.
You got what?
No,
Okay. Any questions about what you gotta do? Everybody understand?
Indeed.
Alright, we'll go for 5 minutes and I'll check in and see if everybody's done. Alright?
We will not be done in 5 minutes.
Believe in yourself. Here we go. Go!
I'll do one because I
Yeah.
said we're gonna spend a long time over.
No, I was just gonna put a bunch of it away and not change the light. Just like that.
Well, these songs are like Is it 8 or 5?
Oh, I thought you were like.
5 from part 1, 10 from part 2. Make sure that you and your partner or partners agree on what you decide the answer is.
I don't think you'll move or anything because like he seems
Well,
like.
I don't think.
Mary, Marino. I'm saying this now. He won't let me read now.
Wait, what's your assignment?
He won't let me read now.
Yourself.
Oh, all of us.
Oh, they don't need that. Oh, that's
You did
I
Do we need a
copy? Yeah.
I'm so confused. I'm like still rattled. I'm good.
Wait, so does
Oh, she's in my
does
grade.
our character have to be the same for each person or
What
each
is
one?
with you?
So many things. I know. It's the worst.
It's Saturday.
It's the worst.
Do we need a quote for each one?
Yeah.
You don't need a quote, but you need specific evidence from text. So
Okay,
it doesn't
yeah,
have
he
to
says
be
he likes the part of the first two
He's a
days.
name. What's his name? How do you spell his name?
MERSAULT.
Whoa. MERSA.
What's up? Anyway, let's see.
There's a T?
UOT.
Oh,
no, character has just been
What's the UOT? Okay.
Well, your character
So
looks
the
for
study
true
level
love.
He would like put his name. I think you'd
Okay,
rather
I'm saying a small part of chapter
Wait, what was that?
Okay, what projects in here?
Wait, actually, what does he get at that?
A smaller, because he already feels like his is too big.
Am I right? And maybe also,
I think he wants to buy also the city.
Yeah, close to his job.
what's the guy? His name is the dog.
What?
Oh,
The guy with the dog.
Because he gets tired of walking and that's like
Twice staring at my thing.
The guy with the dog.
Yeah, so.
No, Solomon.
I feel like he found this guy.
Attractive and unconditional.
He paid for his dog.
Wait, that's
He likes that.
Yeah, that's what the dog is?
What? Yeah, I know. That guy's like super bipolar. Because one minute he's like beating the dog, and then the next minute he's like, oh, that's the dog until I have it.
Right.
Wrong.
Yeah, no.
5 minutes.
It would be simple, cheap, and near a lot of things.
Who's a really emotional character? Matthew McConaughey.
And I have number 9.
Oh, I'm talking about 5, like who, like an emotional actor.
Or
Okay, that's a good point.
Oh, I think yeah.
Let's just look at one
Him
version.
or
Look,
7.
No, Nicolas Cage is
That's a
like,
solo character.
Wait,
he's way too
My
erratic.
character is so
Or Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I think
He like draws smiley faces.
You do what?
No,
At least
Although that's a good one.
Just like,
Just the idea.
number 2.
No, True Love.
And
Wait, number 5.
Here's the ones that do.
yeah.
When
Because
I
he's
think
really big, emotional.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm choosing that.
Wait, 5 ideas that
Think about the most boring acting.
John Wick.
Yeah.
Let's do 5. Let's make him do the swamp.
Okay, what is seems like they're easy. He's good at
Never understood
so
why
get a glass of
they're
wine,
made
right?
What was that?
Steak and fries is a super freshman.
That is generalization.
It's so true.
I don't put mayonnaise in bottles of wine, so thanks. Thanks for putting me in the box. Don't want to be that.
Boring,
Oh
really
no,
slow.
your kid, no, your kid. What the
Wait, we're done.
No, but they want really want to ask
Okay, we're not doing right now. Part two, if you, ten, part two.
That's weird. Your costume party.
It's the name for steak and fries, but there's no hand.
Time for part two. Part two is
Everything else there, like just like just like maybe you're giving a costume party.
He's completed with the sun.
Oh, this winter.
December, Sunday, ground.
7. You're hosting a costume party with costume character choose to wear.
I don't think you'll go to a costume party.
Yeah. He'll smoke a cigarette and fall asleep beforehand.
Charlotte Russe. What? Why does it say vanilla ice cream or Charlotte Russe?
Ready?
Yeah,
Never seen that.
No, it's a cake.
Yeah, he won't
It's a
go.
dessert.
So what do you-
It's a like kind of a fancy dessert.
I when he says nail, I'm thinking like nails like on your feet.
How we doing, people? 60 seconds?
I don't know what he does, but
Okay. Keep going.
Yeah, but I was
That is a lot.
I love
No.
5 from part 1. 10 from part 2. I mean, yeah, 10 from part 2.
Okay.
Are we have to grab the characters
Yeah.
submitted in part two?
He doesn't do the only
December.
So is he like the guy with the dog?
He's cold and
Am I the only one that's confused why he can't walk on their shit without like fading?
yeah.
He's like a good feel like maybe pressure and stuff.
I think he might kill the guy.
Yeah. Because it's boring.
That's know what I get?
6, I would say. Probably self-response boring. Hammer, nail. That's what you white rice, pumpkin, white.
Wait,
It actually is, yeah.
Think about it, because it's like intellectual and boring. So.
Alright, here's the last part I want you to do.
what?
With the people in your group, I want you to choose an actor that you know of from wherever to portray Merceau in the movie The Stranger.
Well, we did.
Well, we already did that.
Oh, you already have it?
I was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
gonna say that.
Beautiful. Alright, let's go around group by group.
Seriously? Oh my god, I was literally about to say that.
Alright, here we go, here we go, here we go.
I said who would he be?
Are you guys picking your actor? Alright. Alright, let's go Gavin, Gabe, Mike.
Yeah.
Give me your most interesting one from part 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, say like.
You got it.
Alright, well, for number, which one was it? 7. For what costume the character will choose to wear to your party, explain why the character would choose this particular outfit. We said just his normal everyday work clothes because he's kind of just like a simple guy who wouldn't get dressed up for anything.
Okay. Why wouldn't he get dressed up for anything? What in the book shows you that he might be that kind of guy?
I don't know, like, I don't know.
He doesn't care about anything.
Okay.
So he just show up. Caring enough would be him for just going to the party.
Good. Lydia, are you in group or are you solo?
I'm kind of in there.
Yeah, like halfway.
Okay. You three, give me your best one from part one. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Who was you guys' actor?
We read it wrong, and we thought who. Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to you.
Okay, our best answer is for Criminal Receipt, part one, which is
Yep.
character just entered a restaurant that serves everything in the world. The waiter asks the character, what would you like to order? Character replies, pasta with butter and a side of French fries from the kids' menu.
Solid. What did you see in the book that made you think that would be the right answer?
He's just so bland.
Like he has no. He doesn't do anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
And, like, okay, that's good. We're talking about his eating habits.
Yeah.
So, like pasta with butter is like, okay, like I'm pretty sure like there's not very many people that would be like, I don't like pasta, and then like butter is just like, you know.
He's very
And French fries are just like.
Good. French fries with no salt.
Oh,
none of that.
God, yeah.
Good. Cam and Phillips.
Best one or actor?
Oh wait, who's your actor?
Ben
Oh,
Affleck.
Ben Affleck. Okay, go.
So for one, if he won $100,000, he said he'd probably definitely just spend some of it on wine because he drinks it so much, and he probably won't move because he's like, I don't need a bigger apartment. This one's already too big.
Okay.
And he's definitely not gonna tell Marie.
Marie.
Yeah.
He's not gonna tell her. That's messed up, man.
He's messed up.
Okay.
We don't tell him about our actor Philip.
Oh, do you need an explanation for one or?
Just say name.
Who's your actor?
Oh, Keanu Reeves.
That was my first choice, bro.
That was bad.
I mean, he's so emotionless. Like John Wick just kills people, just
Okay.
has no expression. So I guess.
Fair enough. You three.
Okay, for number 3, if our character was to buy a new house, they would probably downsize to a smaller apartment somewhere high up because he really likes to people watch. And it'll be cheaper than the one he lives in now because it'll be smaller. It'll be above any like street that's busy, and it won't have like any landscaping because plants are too big of a deal for him to like take care of.
Good. And what did you guys see in the book that made you?
Well, he only uses that one room in his house, and he
Yeah.
also stood outside on his balcony for like the whole day just watching people.
Sure did. Great. Who's your actor?
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. Big hitter. Make sure.
So if you won like all that money, you think that he wouldn't do anything and you just like lose it or something and like wouldn't even know it exists? Because he's kind of just like spacey, whatever.
Nice.
And actor, you know the Hunger Games?
Yeah.
And you know Haymitch?
Oh, Woody Harrelson?
Yeah,
Woody Harrelson? Interesting. Good. Min, what you got?
For the first part, I answered the question. In a contest sponsored by a commercial company, character has won $100,000. Describe what character will do with the money.
Yep.
I said that he would spend his money on whatever his girlfriend wanted.
Really? That's super interesting. What did you see in the book that made you think that he would do something so selfless? Or selfish? There's nothing selfless, right? I got you.
He's not selfless. He just doesn't care about the money.
Beautiful.
Like when sports offered for him a job, like to transfer to Paris, they don't really care. He just asked his girlfriend to go.
Good. Matt Roy?
For the question, number 9, character being presented with an arrest warrant, he'd get an arrest warrant for murder.
Ooh,
He'd
murder.
react by shooting the police as well.
Interesting.
He doesn't want.
Good.
What do you ask for?
Who's your actor? I didn't get my next words out.
No, I know you go, you're about to move on. John Cena.
John Cena.
So like scrawny version.
Alright, here's the actor.
John Cena.
The thing about John
He's so bland.
I get you. I'm with you.
But like
Here's the actor that I picked. Pull up Google, type in Crispin Glover.
You literally said that.
Crispin Glover is my pick to play Merceau. That guy.
Oh, Mr. Rivers, I searched
Wait,
weird
that's
actors
George
online. His
McFly.
name
Did
came
you?
up first.
That's what I picked.
I can see that actually.
Right?
Oh, that's happening.
This seems really great.
Alright.
Oh, that's
I
smart.
can see this.
For clear
I know you can. I know you can.
What is this movie?
Wait, this is so how I imagine him.
I know it is. That's why I'm here. I'm here just to point out obscure people that remind you of people that you imagine.
Oh, he's the guy from
He's so creepy.
That's disgusting.
But he needs
All right.
to talk like John Cena.
Get off the internet, all of you.
How about that guy from Batman Begins, the scarecrow guy? I forget what his name is.
Alright, here's what I want you to do. Take out your book. Pull up page 56.
Oh my god, this Cerberus.
He's a popular guy.
Page 56, alright? We're going to deal with this, the description of the murder scene. Ready yet?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Spoilers.
Okay, that's okay. I can do that.
Throwing it out there. Let's start with at the top of the page, but without taking his. Any volunteers? Gabe.
I'm still trying to find it.
I'll go for Gabe.
What chapter is that?
Mike, you go for Gabe. Is chapter 5.
But without taking his eyes off his adversary, Raymond asked me, should I let him have it? I thought that if I said no, he'd get himself all worked up and shoot for sure. All I said was, he hasn't said anything yet. It'd be pretty lousy to shoot him like that. You could still hear the sound of the water and the flute deep within the silence and the heat. Then Raymond said, so I'll call him something, and when he answers back, I'll let him have it. I answered, right, but if he doesn't draw his knife, you can't shoot. Raymond started getting worked up. The other Arab went on playing, and both of them were watching every move Raymond made. No, I said to Raymond, take on man to man and give me your gun. If the other one moves in, or if he draws his knife, I'll let him have it.
Good. Thank you, Mike. Somebody summarize the plan for me. Go.
He's like, you can't shoot him in cold blood.
Yep.
Because that's murder.
Yep.
Go fist fight him, and if he does anything tricky or his friend gets in, I'll shoot him for you.
Right. Why doesn't Merceau want to just shoot him?
Because that'll be the premeditated murder. Is that what, like
Premeditated murder? Okay.
You can kill a guy in self-defense. You can't kill a guy in not self-defense. So he just shoots him. It's not self-defense. But they get into a fist fight, and then he draws a knife and it's only self-defense.
Okay, but do you think that your John Cena is the kind of guy who has the law going through his head and is like, whoa, that's premeditated? But this is self-defense.
He doesn't like cops.
He doesn't like cops.
I think it's more like just trying to avoid the situation. I guess.
Good point. So is Merceau just trying to get out of the situation however he can?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So Raymond and Merceau walking has a gun. I'm gonna shoot him in the face. Whoa, man, don't do that. Call his name. If he responds, then you shoot him. That's not really reason to shoot somebody, right? You kind of made them do it. If I call your name and you turn your head and I shoot you because you turned your head, I can't really justify that, right? So, what's the plan? What does Merceau say to do instead? What are you waiting for? Go fight a man-to-man, and if
one of his buddies draws a knife or tries to move in, I'll shoot him.
Right. Who does this remind you of? Why? Why? Why is this Hamlet-esque?
He wants like,
Damn, go.
Because it's very much like sure it'd be easier to murder him, but I'm gonna scheme and like let this play out because he doesn't just want to just take this decisive murder action.
Good.
I think it's more like Hamlet didn't want to kill Claudius until he saw that he had a reason to.
Good.
That's why he kept scheming and wanted him to make the move first.
Absolutely. Because who is he trying to convince to act?
Himself.
Always himself. Because when we're thinking with our existential brains, right? When you're free will versus fate, and you work out all of the absurd conversations to questions that have no real answers, right? It all comes down to what do you believe in? The world's only value is the value that you put on it, which means that if you want to do anything, you simply have to convince yourself to do it. And it's all about going through all of those paths to try to do that. Make sense? Let's keep reading. The sun glinted. Brain.
The sun glinted off Raymond's gun as he handed it to me, but we just stood there motionless as if everything had closed in around us. We stared at each other without blinking, and everything came to a stop there between the sea, the sand, and the sun, and the doubled silence of the fruit and the water. It was then that I realized that you could either shoot or not shoot. But all of a sudden the Arabs, backing away, slipped behind the rock, so Raymond and I turned and headed back the way we'd come. He seemed better and talked about the bus back.
Good. To shoot or not to shoot?
And
That is the question.
To be or not to be.
What to be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is noble in the mind to suffer, yada yada. Right? You can do this again. You're doing this again. You're doing it and you don't even realize
What
it.
if we read this instead of him? That would be real great.
What if we read this and Hamlet
oh, we did that.
so that we could get a better picture of Hamlet through Meursault? You know what? All right, throw out the plan. That's what we're going to do from now
You're so funny.
on. All right.
No more bamboozling, please.
No more bamboozling.
Please, Mr. No more bamboozling.
Then he's like, all right, burn this book. We're not reading it anymore. We're reading this. Get it? We need it by Friday.
Got it.
No more bamboozling.
All right, let's keep going. Next paragraph. Cam.
I went with him as far as the bungalow, and as he climbed the wooden steps, I just stood there at the bottom. My head ringing from the sun and unable to face the effort it would take to climb the wooden staircase and face the woman again. But heat was so intense that it was just as bad standing still in the building and the blinding stream falling from the sky. To stay or to go, it amounted to the same thing. A minute later, I turned back toward the beach and started walking.
Beautiful. How is it the same thing to stay or to go? How does it amount to the same thing?
Oh my god, this is like.
Talking about Hamlet?
To stay or to go.
Whether kids to
How-
stay
in The Stranger, you don't have to go Hamlet yet.
Oh, wait, no.
Yeah.
How is he going to be doing the same thing? In one scenario, he's going inside to sit around a bunch of people that he essentially is friends with. On the other side, he's about to go walk on the beach because he's too hot and he doesn't like the sun beating down on him, and it's just too warm. He says the heat was so intense that it was just as bad standing still in the blinding stream falling from the sky. How does it amount to the same thing?
He's uncomfortable in both situations.
Say more about it.
So like, he's like not a super social guy. So like, when he's with these people that he's like half friends with, he's like not pumped. But also when he's like walking on the beach, he's gonna be still like super hot and stuff, and like that's not happy.
Good. Anything to add? He really hates stairs, right?
Like staring at the stairs.
Yep.
Because he feels comfortable with stairs.
So in either scenario, he's going to end up doing something he doesn't want to do. He's either going to be really hot, which he doesn't want to be, or he's going to be nagged and bothered by questions from these two women who want to know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah? Makes sense? Different kind of heat. Same thing. Let's go to 59. Start at the top where it says, actually start on page 58. It occurred to me. Everybody see it? Anybody not see it?
Yeah.
Lydia.
It occurred to me that all I had to do was turn around and that would be the end of it. But the whole beach, throbbing in the sun, was pressing on my back. I took a few steps toward the spring. The Arab didn't move. Besides, he was still pretty far away. Maybe it was the shadows on his face, but it looked like he was laughing. I waited. The sun was starting to burn my cheeks, and I could feel drops of sweat gathering in my eyebrows. The sun was the same as it had been the day I buried Mom. And like then, my forehead especially was hurting me, all the veins in it throbbing under the skin. It was this burning, which I couldn't stand anymore, that made me move forward.
Good. You'll notice in this description, right? He doesn't take blame for anything. Something's always making him do something. Something's always kind of prompting. Later in that paragraph, which we kind of don't have time for, but later in that paragraph, he says the trigger gave, not I pulled it. The sun made me, not I went. Right? He talks about the Arab's blade, but the Arab's laying down, and all he sees is the glint off of the blade. And then he shoots him how many times?
4, 5.
5 times. He shoots him once when the trigger gave, and then he shoots him 4 more times. Right? I don't know I hope none of you are ever in this situation where somebody is explaining to you how they took self-defense after taking 5 shots, but it's not true. Right? 5 is too much. I think 3 is like your limit. I just made that up. There's a rule. There's a rule. Right? So what we're gonna think about going forward is, how does this remind you of Hamlet? How is Rousseau and Hamlet cut from the same cloth?
Their parent both died.
Their parent both died, and they're both responding to their parents' death. But essentially, the way they see the world is shaped through the only thing that shapes any of the way we see the world. Our eyes, our own experiences, right? Because nobody ever does anything that they think is wrong, and everything everybody does is some form of selfish.
And it's all fake.
It's all possibly fate or free will.
It's all free.
Matt, last comment.
Cool. Explain the first 10 minutes of this class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm here. She's in my grad
What's
class.
the point of doing this?
That was really mean.
That was so mean.
I knew it. It was a social experiment. And you recorded it to get our reaction.
Yeah, you actually did.
Oh.
I recorded it for my class.
Why did you want to do
This
that
is
to
what
us?
Huh?
Why did you want to do that to us? What did you gain from that?
I gained your thought process.
You don't see us
I'll
as
say this
equals. You see us as little things you mess around with and then videotape.
I'm sorry.
Change this.
Did you have fun?
I'm literally offended.
I'm sorry.
I'm offended.
See you later. Recording grad class.
Heart and soul into
What's up?
Yeah,
Okay, what is that? Email me that you did. If you need me, let me know. If not,
You literally cried. Your face was like
I was
so
mad. Ellie, you were doing that anyway.
Where are you going?
There happens to be this thing where you can drop English if you take Scholars English. And I figured if I'm going to have to write a capstone project here, I also have to do a bunch of other work in this class, or I can just do one writing project and that would be it.
Ellie, it's gonna
Only
be
one.
so much harder.
The only thing you have to do for me in T3 is the capstone.
What do you mean?
It's not like we do other work